follow our dreams, but dreams are a luxury left for the privileged few. According to a global NGO, Save the Children, 1.2 billion children globally live in poverty. For these children, dreams are not becoming a doctor, playing in the Olympics, getting the newest Lego, or attending Harvard. Poor children hope to go to sleep with their stomachs full and to be able to finish high school. To let all these poor children in the world dream, we must put an end to child poverty. According to the World Bank, around 700 million people live on less than only $2.15 per day, which is the extreme poverty line. Poor health and nutrition due to poverty result in higher rates of disease and mortality. Malnutrition affects over 200 million children globally, contributing to stunted growth and developmental delays. Moreover, the impact of child poverty is aggregate in the short term. Poverty gets passed down to generations. This means that children born into poverty are more likely to remain poor as adults due to limited access to education and economic opportunities, which worsens the poverty problem. So countless studies confirm this trend. APLU finds that only 3% of American children from persistently poor backgrounds finish college by the age of 25, and people without a college degree are on average 86% less than the college graduates. So as I discovered how poor these children are and how harsh environments these children have to live in and experience, I really got the sense of responsibility to use that subject in this speech. So this problem mainly exists in many impoverished countries that were subjected to colonial rule, which often involved the exploitation of resources and the people. Colonial powers frequently restructured local economies to benefit the colonizers, leaving independent nations with economic systems that were really ill-suited for growth. Economic inequality, due to the unequal distribution of income and our opportunity, perpetuates poverty. So the World Inequality Report shows that the poorest 50% of the global population own just 2% of the total net wealth in the world. According to a report by Credit Suisse in 2023, the richest 1% of individuals possess approximately 45.8% of global wealth. So this disparity is really highlighted by the fact that the bottom 50% of the population owns less than 1% of the world's assets. For example, let me give you an example. In the United States, data from the Federal Reserve indicates that the top 1% of households control over 31% of the nation's wealth, while the bottom 50% hold 2%. Thus, wealth remains concentrated in the hands of the few, while large parts of the population have limited access to the most basic resources. So this disparity can lead to a cycle of poverty where individuals and families could really struggle so much to break free from the economic hardship. Additionally, economic inequality can really exacerbate social tensions and reduce overall economic growth as the potential of the significant portion of the population remains untapped. But why should we really care about this problem? So we should care about this problem since every person deserves to live with dignity and have their basic needs met. This sense of duty and responsibility of each and every single individual can drive efforts to alleviate poverty and create a more equitable society, and being from their perspectives. Moving on to the solutions, what could possibly be done for this particular problem? So our first solution is to provide free health and education services. So did you know that around 67 million primary school age children are out of the school around the world? So even for those attending school, hunger is one of the biggest barriers to concentration and learning. So for this problem, we could offer school meals to children living in some of the world's poorest communities. The promise of a good meal would bring really hungry children into the classroom where they can gain an education and have better opportunities for the future. So this solution will really help children to get a proper education and a healthy meal both at the same time. So our second solution is to impose progressive taxes on billionaires and the wealthy class. So progressive taxes, particularly direct income taxes, are really a key channel for governments to reduce inequality in the short run. By imposing higher tax rates on those with higher incomes, progressive taxes will directly reduce the disposable income of the wealthy, therefore using this money by the government to be put back into education, healthcare, and financial aid to help parents of the poor in low-income countries. Lastly, the third solution is to provide financial aid for the parents. So this means that the government could provide grants and scholarships to cover the cost of the family's education, including school fees and everything related to education. So with the money the government receives from the progression taxes from the billionaires and the wealthy class, they can provide monthly financial aid to low-income families in order to support other facilities and basic needs in their life, such as clothes. So in conclusion, addressing global poverty is not just a moral imperative, but also a practical necessity for a more just and equitable world. So let us all have a role and commit to policies that promote equity, invest in education and healthcare, and provide direct support to those in need. By doing so, we can create a world where poverty is not a defining characteristic of one's life, but a challenge that we have collectively overcome. Thank you for listening to my speech.